Hello there and welcome to this Ashtanga-Inspired practice where we are working in a sort of linear fashion for those sort of under the weather days with just the right amount of warm. So take a moment to arrive on the mat, bring the palms to press in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. Take a moment to come into the breath and set an intention for our practice. And then as we're ready, climbing forwards into an extended child's pose. Lengthen through the fingertips. Roll those biceps up towards the sky. Those triceps towards the surface beneath you. Lift through the forearms. Hips towards the heels. Forehead comes to rest. Take a few centering, grounding breaths. And then as we're ready, we're going to tuck the toes and press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Treading out through the heels, send the tailbone high. Arms and ears in line here, draw the belly up and underneath the rib cage. Put a bend in those knees and then start to press through the heels, sinking those heels towards the floor. Length through the back of the neck and step the feet wide. Look up and lengthen, again pressing down through those heels, sending that tailbone high. Feel free to keep a soft bend in the knees if that feels more comfortable on the low back. And then start to walk the feet back in towards center. Step, hop, or walk gently towards the front of the mat. Take an inhale to lift and lengthen, exhale to fold. And then inhale to press down through the feet to rise up through those fingertips. Bring the palms to press in front of the heart and step towards the front in Samastatihi. And let's just take a moment to get grounded through the feet as we come into Surya A. Inhale to lift those fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale to fold forwards, pouring the upper body towards the floor. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to step the feet back into Phalakasana. Knees can be up or down. Keep the belly drawn in. And then lower to the floor into a baby cobra, rolling those shoulder heads back. Peel the head and chest from the floor. Lengthen the tailbone. And exhale to tuck those toes. Move from the navel. Send that tailbone high. Again, press through those heels. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. And stay here for a few breaths. Really focusing on lengthening the thighs. And then inhale to step towards the front of the mat. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold forwards. And then inhale to float the palms. Press through the heels to rise up. Exhale, Samastatihi. Again, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale to melt and fold forwards over those knees. Look back. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Hips over heels. Exhale to step back into Phalakasana or plank pose. Keep the belly strong. Sliding forwards to up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Spin those triceps in towards the back of the room. Press through the heels. Stay for a breath or two. And then, as we're ready, inhale to look up, step up or float towards the front of the mat. Lift and lengthen on an inhale. Exhale to fold. Again, inhale to rise on up, flatten the back. Exhale, press the palms in front of the heart. Again, inhale to slide those fingertips up, palms are facing. Exhale to hinge from those hips, folding forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soft bend in those knees, step it back, Phalakasana, belly is strong. Long line for the back of the head, through the tailbone. Inhale to roll into up dog or baby cobra. Exhale to tuck those toes, send the tailbone high. Lengthen those thighs, press through the heels, spread out through those fingertips to protect those wrists. Take a moment to pause. Adho Mukha. And then, as we're ready, inhale to put a soft bend in those knees. Step up or float to the front of the mat. Lift and lengthen on an inhale. Exhale, fold it forwards. Inhale to rise on up through those fingertips. Press through the heels. Exhale, Samastatihi. Again, inhale, sweep the palms. Palms are facing. Exhale to fold it forwards, hinging gently from those hips. Melting forwards. Inhale, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, step, hop or float towards the back of the mat, Phalakasana, or landing in Chaturanga with bent elbows hugging the waist. Sliding onto the tops of the feet, up dog. Exhale, tuck those toes, send the tailbone high, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Big toes in, heels ever so slightly apart. Crown of the head dangles, neck is long. And then as we're ready, lifting and hopping, stepping, floating to the front of the mat. Lift up, inhale, exhale, fold. Press through the feet to rise on up through an inhale, exhale the palms to press in front of the heart. Coming into Surya B now, so dusting those ankles with those palms as we come into fierce pose. Lift the heart, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale to roll those shoulders back. Lift the head. Exhale, step up or float into Chaturanga with bent elbows, hug the waist. Sliding forwards, rolling onto the tops of the feet, up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, send that tailbone high, downward dog. Exhale to step that right foot forwards. Spin out on that left heel. Rise up, warrior one. Exhale, ride that tide of breath back down through Chaturanga. Rolling onto the tops of the feet, up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale to spin out on the right heel. Step that left foot forwards. Pelvis nice and steady, square to the front of the mat. Exhale, ride that tide of breath back down. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, tuck those toes, move from the navel where possible to protect that low back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Arms and ears in line, lengthen the tailbone towards the sky. Lengthen the thighs towards the heels. Lift through the backs of the knees. Inhale to look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat, landing lightly. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale through Utkatasana, fierce pose. Scooch that tailbone towards the backs of the knees, press down through the heels. Inhale up, again, exhale, swim those arms. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step up or float towards the back of the mat, landing softly, bent elbows. Rolling over those feet into up dog. Lift and lengthen, press the heart forwards. Shoulders over wrists. Exhale, pull back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, press through those heels. Spin out on that left heel, step right foot forwards, nice and steady through the pelvis. Warrior one. Exhale, step it back. Chaturanga arms, slide it forwards, press that heart forwards. Shoulders over wrists, tuck those toes, reversing. Spinning out on right foot, step that left foot forwards, steady with the pelvis, hip points face forwards, reaching up. Exhale, ride that tide of breath through to up dog. Exhale, tuck those toes, move from the navel, send that tailbone high, spreading out through those fingers, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Lengthen and deepen the breath, and as you do, send those heels sinking that ever deeper towards the mat. Ujjayi breath, ocean-like, triumphant breath. Inhale to step up or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding forwards, look back towards those knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose. Tuck the tailbone, press through the heels to rise on up. Stepping towards the front of the mat. Hop the feet apart, hands at the hips. Take into a back bend as we exhale, then hinging from those hips, folding forwards. Wrapping first two fingertips around those big toe mounds of the feet. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold forwards, look back towards the knees. Keep a soft bend in the knees if that feels better for the low back. Otherwise, lengthen through the thighs, the hamstrings. Stretch through the calves, keeping that spine nice and straight. Inhale to look up. Exhale, hands towards the hips. And then as we're ready, we're going to step out towards the long edge of the mat, turning out on that right foot. Spinning out on those right toes, going for that heel to arch alignment, opening into warrior two arms. Sliding into that left hip for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Tucking that tailbone towards that back heel, open from the belly, the chest. Bring those palms broadly out towards the side of the room. Maybe you can wrap the first two fingertips around the big toe mound of the right foot. Press with the outside edge of that back foot, big toe mound of right foot, and maybe you sweep that left palm behind the back or hook the opposite hip to open more deeply across the shoulders here. Put a soft bend back in the knees as we windscreen wiper the feet over towards the opposite side, Trikonasana towards the left. Lengthen through those palms, Tuck that tailbone towards that right heel as we open across the chest, twisting from the belly, stacking those shoulders, lengthen through those fingertips towards the front of the room, look up towards the top thumb if that's okay on the neck. Perhaps you can wrap that right palm behind the hip and hook the opposite hip to open more deeply across the shoulders here. Deeper shoulder stretch. Can be quite a nice shoulder release. Lengthen through those fingertips once more. Put a soft bend back in that front knee. And then from here, we're going to windscreen wiper back towards the opposite side. So spin towards that right foot. And we're going to come into twisting triangle here. So plant that left palm either towards the floor, the shin, the thigh. Reach across to the outside of that right thigh. Press through both heels evenly. Try to keep a nice flat back as you twist from the belly and the chest over towards the right hand side of the room. See if you can lengthen through the fingertips, stacking those shoulders and opening that chest into a closed twist towards the right hand side. Switching sides now, so swiveling on those toes, make a pivot, take your brick with you if you're using one. Bring it to the inside or the outside of that left foot. Reach that right palm across and open towards the left, keeping the pelvis nice and steady, hips nicely balanced, lift the belly up and underneath the rib cage. And we go for heel to, and here we go for heel to heel alignment or broader if that's more stable. As demonstrated here. And then as we're ready, stepping towards the front of the mat, Samastatihi. Hands to those hips, start position, swiveling out, pivoting on those right toes towards the short edge of the mat. And put a gentle bend, a soft bend in that right knee over that right ankle as we come into extended side angle here. So perhaps you can lengthen the fingertips inside or outside the right thigh, or place the right palm on a brick. Again, lengthen the tailbone towards that back heel as you press strongly and firmly through the outside of that back foot and twist from the belly and the chest. Inhale to rise on up and switch to the opposite side. So windscreen wipering those feet. So turning out on those left toes, heel to arch alignment again, reaching those right fingertips up and overhead. Pinky finger faces down. Up and overhead, we're reaching, look up towards that top thumb if that's okay on the neck. Left palm inside or outside that left foot, or resting the forearm against that left thigh to make it a more modified, milder version. As we're ready, take an inhale to rise on up. We're going to sweep that left palm all the way back around and bring that left elbow to the outside of right thigh as we pivot on the toes. Again, go for that heel to heel alignment. On the feet, keep the pelvis nice and steady. Maybe lift up on that back heel to keep a more stable position for the thighs and hips. Bring the palms to press in prayer position, softening those shoulders away from those ears, or maybe again we can open more broadly. And then as we're ready on an inhale, we're going to switch sides, so pivoting back on the left foot this time, go for heel to arch alignment. And bringing that right elbow across towards the outside of the left thigh, bring palms to press, or broaden the palms towards the side of the room, twisting from the belly. Left fingertips reaching up and overhead is an extra option to deepen the posture here. Again, keep those hips nice and steady. That back heel can be lifted. Then as we're ready, inhale to rise on up, step towards the front of the mat, Samastatihi. Start position. Hands towards the hips. Step back out with that right foot into Prasarita. Padasana, so supportive, low back bend here. As we then exhale, folding and hinging from those hips, softening through those fingertips or palms towards the floor and lower the crown of the head. Elbows can be bent. Option here to come into a tripod headstand variation, so we can bring those knees in towards center, lifting through the knees. If this is in your practice, and then inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, hands towards the hips, draw that belly in to rise on up. Inhale, reach on up and overhead. Exhale to sweep the palms behind, interlace those fingertips, knuckles draw down past the tailbone. As we lengthen, hinging from those hips, knuckles overhead towards the sky, crown of the head reaches for the floor. Doesn't matter if it doesn't touch, big toes turned in, heels slightly apart. And bring those hips over those heels, or hips overhead. Keep length through the neck here, and only gently pressing through the crown of the head, always in control with how much pressure we're applying through the crown of the head. Exhale to bring those palms to the low back. Reach up on an inhale, step towards the front of the mat, Samastatihi. Good. Again, stepping towards the center of the mat. We're going to practice a little bit of balance here. So as we're ready, drawing that right knee in towards the chest, maybe making some circles on the ankle here. Hook the big toe man with the first two fingers of the right hand. Level off the shoulders, square to the front of the mat. Press for that standing leg, keep the pelvis nice and stable. Draw the belly in, draw length through the crown of the head and press through that right heel. Either stay here or feel free with the knees bent or the legs outstretched to take it into an open twist over towards the right hand side, lengthening through left fingertips as a counterbalance, looking over towards the left hand side. Draw that knee in towards the nose for a little extra, and then press through that heel, holding that leg in place using just the belly muscles and the thigh muscles. Exhale, release. Whew. Shake out the legs. Prepare for a balance on the other side. So shifting that weight into that right standing leg, hook the toe with the first two fingers of the left palm, or left hand even. Square off the shoulders towards the front of the mat. Belly's nice and strong here. Right hand at the hip. Fix your drishti or gaze at a non-moving point across the room. And then as you're ready, start to open the hip towards the left hand side. Knee can be bent or straight. For an extra challenge, look over towards the right hand side, over towards that right shoulder. Right palm can rest at the hips, or maybe you can lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale to draw that left knee back through center. Maybe bring the nose in towards the knee a little. And then releasing, using just the belly muscles to keep that thigh in place. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Exhale, softly release. Whew. Well done. Core working like crazy here. Again, so here we can come into our tree pose, Vrikshasana, slide those right toes up the shin or the thigh, or using that right hip, we can draw that left heel across the body, sweep that right palm across and reach for left elbow as we lengthen the tailbone towards the floor. Lengthen through the crown of the head and hold it steady here, either in your tree pose or with that heel just up towards the navel. Start to send that heart forwards, gently bending into that left knee. And then exhale to release. Shifting that weight now into that left foot for a tree pose. Otherwise, drawing that left heel up towards the navel, moving from the hip. Hook that right elbow with the left fingertips, open across the chest. Keep the belly nice and strong, and then start to gently crunch forwards, lengthening from the chest. Soft bend in that standing knee, lengthen through the crown of the head. Hold it steady here. Keep that head lifted to keep that energy alive, and then exhale to softly release. Step towards the front of the mat, Samastatihi. And then turning back out on those right toes, swivel and pivot on those right toes. Bringing those fists to press or taking reverse prayer position towards the insides of the shoulders here. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinging from the hip, keep the back as flat as you possibly can, supporting with the belly muscles. Again, go for heel to heel alignment or broader. Keep the belly lifting from the thigh. Pusvattanasana, pyramid pose. And then switching sides, so pivoting on the toes towards the opposite side. Bring those fists to press at the low back or palms to press in reverse prayer position. Lengthen through the crown of the head up and over that front thigh. Stabilizing the asana by pressing through the big toe mound of that left foot, outside edge of right foot. Keep length drawing through the crown of the head to keep that energy alive. And then again, inhale to rise on up. Releasing, making some circles on those wrists, step towards the front of the mat. Samastatihi. Reset. As we're ready, inhale to sweep the palms up. Gentle back bend, folding forwards, press through the palms, the hands. Folding over those knees. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to shoot back through chaturanga elbows, through to up dog or baby cobra. Roll those shoulders back over those wrists. Exhale, send that tailbone high. Downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press through those heels. Inhale to look forwards. Exhale to step, hop or float towards the front of the mat, landing lightly. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, put a soft bend through those knees into Utkatasana. Hold, shifting the weight into the heels. Option to take Garudasana arms. From here, optional Bakasana or crow pose. So to unwind the arms, we can send the knees up into the armpits, shift that weight forwards, hips over those knees until those feet become weightless. Draw the belly in, then shoot the feet back. Landing with bent elbows into Chaturanga, up dog. Exhale, tuck those toes, down dog. And then stepping that right foot forward, turning out on left foot, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. And holding here, interlacing the fingertips, index fingers point up towards the sky. Shine that heart forwards, keep those hips steady, those pelvic floor muscles lifted up and in. And keep those shoulders softening away from those ears. And then as ready, we're going to swivel towards the opposite side, step that left foot wide. Switching sides, bring those hip points forwards, left hip comes back, right hip comes forwards. Left knee bent strongly over left ankle at a 90-degree angle. Keep that space in the chest as we then exhale to unwide into Warrior 2 arms. Turn out a little further on that right foot. So left heel to right arch alignment for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Staring out or drishti is over those front fingertips on that left palm. And then as we really straighten out to that left leg, switch sides. Coming into Warrior 2 on the opposite side, again sinking into those hip points, sending that right knee bent over right ankle, nice and steady, nice and strong. And then windmilling those arms, either side of that right foot, step it back. Chaturanga, elbows hug the waist, inhale, rolling forwards, up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, moving from the navel, down dog. Keep it light, keep it playful. And then as we're ready, stepping, hopping off, floating through to sitting. Lengthen through those heels, untucking any flesh from underneath the sit bones. Bring the palms either side of those hip points. Press that heart forwards, lengthen through the crown of the head. Open the heart. Strengthen the low belly, strengthen the thighs, draw those toes back. Inhale to lift and lengthen through those fingertips. Exhale to slide those fingertips forwards, wrap the first 2 fingers around the big toes. And hinging from those hips, keeping that heart lifted, and thereby that energy lifted, lengthen through the crown of the head into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Maybe taking it a little bit deeper, reaching for the outside edges of the feet. Again, avoid dropping that head to keep that energy flowing, that pranic energy flowing. And exhale to release. From here, we're going to come into cross-legged, lift up anything at all using those belly muscles, then bring the weight forward, shoot the feet back through Chaturanga into up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, down dog. And then from here, we're going to jump through to sitting once more. We call this a vinyasa, meaning everything in its place. Keeps the energy lifted. Turn those fingertips pointing in towards the low back. Pressing through the toes, lifting up, shoulders over those wrists. If this is too strong on the arms or the wrists, feel free to take an upturned table. So take those feet parallel. And maybe from here, step the feet forwards. Extra yogic points if you bring those toes towards the floor. Keep that heart open, the tailbone lengthening. Then exhale to soften down. Again, cross at the shins, pick up anything at all. Bring that weight forward, shoot the feet back through Chaturanga, elbows. Shine that heart forwards, up dog. Knees up or down. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a breath here. Inhale, look forward, step up or float towards the front of the mat, sit down. Lengthen through those heels. And from here, we're going to take Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. So for this, you'll take your right leg heel towards navel with the left leg extended into half lotus. If this is too much, just bring that ankle behind that left. Right hand behind you, can reach for your shirt or grab the big toe. Left hand to left foot. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to extend forward. Gaze or drishti towards the foot. Slowly release, right foot alongside left. And switching sides. So cradling that left foot towards the navel, moving from the hips. Again, left palm reaches round for your shirt or foot. Right palm to right foot. Extending forwards, gaze or drishti towards that right foot, and breathe. Slowly release. Crossing at the shins, lifting up anything at all, shooting the feet back through Chaturanga, through your vinyasa, up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, down dog, Adho Mukha. And then as we're ready, take an inhale, look forwards, come into the toes, step up or float to sitting, both legs extended. Coming into Janushasana, bend at the right knee, left leg extended. Reaching those palms high and then lengthening forwards. Reach for the toes, the outside edges of the feet, keep those toes pointed up. Length through the crown of the head. And remember, this is a breath practice, so keep that breath coming. And feel free to keep a soft bend in that left knee if that feels better on the low back. Inhale, softly release. And switch to the opposite side. Bending at the left knee, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forwards. Reaching for the outside edges of the feet, either side of the shins, wherever the hands land is perfect. Always honouring today's body and keeping a soft bend in the knee if necessary, if that feels more comfortable. And breathe. Inhale, release. Exhale, switching and crossing at the shins, lifting up anything at all. Bring the palms forwards, shooting back through Chaturanga Vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step, hop or float, landing in sitting. Legs extended. Untucking any flesh from underneath the seat. Coming into setting up for Marichyasana C. Right palm reaches for the floor behind, left palm reaches up and twist over towards the right. Inhale to extend, exhale to twist. Option to bring that right foot inside or outside the left thigh for a deeper twist. Inhale, release and extend, switching to the other side. Left palm reaches for the floor, right palm reaches up, twisting from the belly, above the waist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist a little deeper. Release and unwind. And again, crossing at the shins, picking up anything at all. And shooting those feet back gently through Chaturanga, bend elbows, inhale up dog, exhale down dog. Inhale to step, hop or float forwards, landing in a seat. And coming into bridges and wheel, rolling down the spine onto the back. Walk those feet hip width apart, knees right above the ankles, roll the arms underneath the shoulders, lengthen the tailbone towards the backs of the knees as we curl up into our bridge. Perhaps interlacing the palms underneath the low back to roll those shoulders still further open, chin away from chest. And gently roll down, take a moment to rest. So from here you can take another bridge, or you can come into Urdhva Dhanurasana, wheel pose with the palms alongside the ears, elbows point straight up towards the sky. If you're going into Urdhva, bring the crown of the head down, elbows above the wrists. Steady breathing. Chin away from chest. To come back down, tuck the chin and gently lower, articulating that spine, vertebra by vertebra, as you lower to the floor. Take a moment to rest with the knees together, and take a moment to think of something or someone you feel grateful for. From here, come into another bridge or another Urdhva. Again, remembering, if coming into Urdhva, elbows above the wrists alongside the ears, pressing gently through the crown of the head. Feet and knees parallel, thighs spiraling in ever so slightly into elbows pointing straight up to the sky. And softly lower and hug the knees into the chest. Making some low back circles. Give yourself a little low back massage, and then gently rocking and rolling all the way up to a comfortable seat. Inhale again into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Reach for the toes, the outside edges of the feet. Keep those toes pointing up nice and active towards the sky. Lead from the heart, length through the crown of the head. Careful on that low back. Feel free to keep a soft bend in the knees to ease the burden on the back, and fold it forwards. Breath smooth and steady. You can use a strap here to pull you forwards. And then inhale is to come out. And then from here we're just going to come onto our backs. So if you have any back issues, high blood pressure, if it's your ladies' vacation, then just lay back and lift the heels up towards the sky. This can be practiced on a brick. If you have no issues such as this, then you can press up into shoulder stand. Bringing the weight onto the shoulders and keeping it off the neck. And if you have not practiced shoulder stand before, then watch before you practice, because once you're in your shoulder stand, you do not want to turn your head. So to come into shoulder stand, you create some momentum with the legs up and overhead. You can start to walk the palms up the spine towards the shoulders to bring those hips over the shoulders. Keep the chin away from the chest and extend the toes up towards the sky. To come out, bring the knees in towards the chest and gently support the spine as you lower either onto your brick or onto the floor. Coming into your counter pose, your fish pose, bring the elbows underneath the shoulders and lift the heart, resting lightly on the crown of the head. Shins can be crossed or legs can be extended in your fish pose. To come out, exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest, lower from your brick if you're using one, and bring the knees in towards the chest, rocking and rolling up and down the length of the spine, shooting back into our Ashtanga Vinyasa, up dog. Tuck the toes, down dog. Send that tailbone high, spread out through the fingers. And then exhale to come onto the knees, ready to set up for our dolphin and our dolphin plank. Building some crazy core strength here. We're just going to measure that the fingertips are interlaced at a shoulder's width apart. Elbows are shoulder width. Tuck the toes, start to walk the feet in towards the body, so the tailbone high as you would for downward dog. And just lower the crown of the head towards the floor and look back towards the toes. Draw the belly in towards the spine. And then slowly step the feet back to lower into your dolphin plank. So for this, we'll lengthen the crown of the head past the fingertips, lower the hips, so you've got a nice long line from the back of the neck out through the tailbone, press through the heels, spiral those thighs in towards center, engaging them firmly as if holding a brick between the thighs. And keep that belly firmly drawn in. Exhale to press out and walk the toes back in towards the body, coming back into your dolphin. Pressing through the forearms, shoulders over the elbows. And breathe. And dolphin pose is a really good preparation for headstands, for arm balances. So if a headstand or arm balances are in your practice, now is a good opportunity to practice. Lengthening back into your dolphin plank, so step the feet back. Lift the belly firmly, shoulders over elbows, interlacing those fingertips, press the palms, extend through the crown of the head and keep the belly strongly engaged. Thighs firm. And then exhale to drop towards the knees and lower into a delicious extended child's pose, or perhaps you wrap the ankles, Shashankasana hairstyle, or come into a child's pose or resting pose of your choice. Rest the forehead, shoulders soft about the ears, and send that breath into the hips, the thighs, and into the low belly. Knees together or apart. And inhale to come up. Step out through your vinyasa, through chaturanga, bend elbows, up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, send that tailbone high, move from the navel, down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and we're nearly there. And then exhale to hop through to sitting, and have your bricks handy, ready for what's to come. Come to a cross-legged sitting position or take lotus pose. If you take lotus pose, please be careful of the knees. And then cross the arms behind you, reaching for opposite elbows, and then fold forwards, sealing in the benefit of our yoga practice. Keep that head lifted to keep that pranic energy flowing. And then exhale to release. As we release, press the index finger and thumb together in Yan Mudra. We connect with our inner wisdom. Nice long breaths. Then reaching for your bricks either side of your hips. This next pose is called Utplatahi or scales pose. And you can always keep your feet on the floor. If you can, come safely into lotus, then you can. This can make it a little easier to pick everything up. If using bricks either side of the hips, make sure you're on a flat surface, unlike me. Then press down, lift up and keep your gaze just off the tip of your nose or just off the front of your yoga mat. And gently lower. Walking the palms forwards. You can come into your flying lotus position and then work through your vinyasa, either from flying lotus or with the shins crossed in front. From your downward dog, hop, skipping or floating forwards to a comfortable seat. And then gently rolling ourselves down using the belly muscles to set up for our Shavasana. So feet can be apart, knees together, press through the back of the head to shift the shoulders away from the ears. Either knees bent or legs extended, allow those toes to flop open towards the side, turn the palms up, chin ever so slightly tucked in towards the chest, and allow the body to settle. Start to steady the breath, sink into the mat with the eyes closed. And as we lie in rest in our Shavasana, just allow ourselves to consider this idea that every second brings a fresh beginning. Every hour holds a new promise. Every night our dreams can bring hope. And every day is what you choose to make it. Rest. And then as you're ready, start to prepare the body to make some small movements of fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe you're yawning and stretching. Drawing those knees in towards the chest, give yourself a hug. And gently rocking a little from side to side before rolling onto your right hand side. Pause for a moment. And then gently press yourself back up to a comfortable seat. The head is the last thing to rise. And then gently pressing the hands in against the heart center, bow the head. And then palms in front of the forehead for loving thoughts. And at the heart center for loving intentions. And to the lips for loving communications. Thank you so much for your just warm enough Ashtanga-inspired practice. Cannot wait to see you all again on the mat again soon. Namaste. Goodbye for now.